What's up? I'm here with Perez Hilton, who's a fucking piece of shit asshole. Fuck you.
Based. Unbelievably based. One more time for the people in the back.
What's up? I'm here with Perez Hilton, who's a fucking piece of shit asshole. Fuck you.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Baby, can't you say I'm calling? A guy like you should have a warning. It's dangerous. I'm falling. There's no escape. I can't wait. I need a hit. Baby, give me it. You're dangerous. I'm loving it. Can't come out. Losing my head, spin around and round. Till you throw me down.
Do we really want to see a 25-year-old woman leave behind 2 children and die? Have we learned nothing from Anna Nicole Smith? I know it's hard to see Britney Spears as a human being, but trust me, she is. She's a person. She's like you or I. And I don't know about you, but I know that I would be pretty shaken up right now. Whatever the case of her, whatever the cause of her performance was, I don't care. All I care about is Britney's well-being. And Britney, all I want is for you to get well. That's all I want. And what really bothers me is to think of those people out there who don't see her as a person. And if anything ever happened to Britney Spears, the world can kiss my ass goodbye. Because if anything ever happens to her, I'm jumping off the nearest fucking building. I don't care what anyone says. I love Britney. And if anything ever happens to her, if she ever commits suicide because of a fucking idiot video, because of a fucking idiot blogger, I will kill myself too. Get well, Britney. The world needs to know that Britney still has her fans. Britney needs to know that she still has her fans. I love you, Britney. Just know that, okay? Just know that. And how fucking dare anyone out there make fun of Britney after all she's been through? She lost her aunt. She went through a divorce. She had 2 fucking...
This was one of the first viral videos of the early interwebs. This was a big old one, and everyone loved to laugh. How we laughed back then. You know, we were all just like, oh yeah, this is silly. Someone's speaking about Britney Spears. Someone's a little obsessed. You know, Perez Hilton basically got most of his career started mocking Chris Cocker. He's now effectively been apologizing for that, since turns out Chris was right all along. Right all along.
Kids, her husband turned out to be a user, a cheater, and now she's going through a custody battle. All you people care about is readers and making money off of her. She's a human! What you don't realize is that Britney's making you all this money, and all you do is write a bunch of crap about her. She hasn't performed on stage in years. Her song is called Give Me More for a reason, because all you people want is more, 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 more! Leave her alone! You're lucky she even performed for you bastards! Leave Britney alone! Please!
Ahead of his time. Ahead of his time. And oh, how we laughed. I know I did. I certainly was like, well, that's silly. Why is anyone taking this so seriously?
Britney Spears addressed the court on Wednesday in her ongoing conservatorship case. Here's what she said. Britney appeared via an audio conference call to address Judge Brenda Penny about her wishes to remove her father Jamie as conservator of her estate. Britney spoke for nearly 20 minutes, saying she wants the conservatorship to end, claiming she was forced to work against her will, and compared the situation to human trafficking. Britney told the court she wants to sue her family for alleged abuses, including being sent to a facility over a disagreement during rehearsals in 2019 for her second Vegas residency, which of course was ultimately canceled. One of the biggest testimony bombshells, Britney says she's been forced to wear an IUD so she can't get pregnant, and that the conservatorship won't let her marry boyfriend Sam.
Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds goddamn medieval. And it is. It is. That's absolutely medieval. I mean, holy shit. Do you remember chastity belts? That was a thing, you know? Forced IUDs? You can't have kids? Just the idea of a conservatory or a conservatorship for an adult, a grown adult, is absolutely fucked. And I know everyone's been playing the misogyny card because it's accurate. It's very accurate. It's just goddamn fucked. This shit I don't think would fly for a man. I don't think it would even be proposed. Like, this is such a weird kind of like daddy energy where her father was like, well, you're mentally unfit, so I'm going to need to dictate everything that happens in your life, including the fact that you may never have children again. So say it, daddy.
Sam Asghari. As you'll remember, back in 2008, Britney's dad, Jamie Spears, filed for a temporary conservatorship after concerns over...
Fiance is so hot, by the way. Is that fiance or husband? I don't know, either way. Yeah, he's mad hot.
...for his daughter's mental health, a decision that was granted and later became permanent. And in late 2020, Britney requested to suspend her father as her conservator, which was denied. At the time, the singer's lawyer said that she is afraid of her father and that she may not perform again as long as her father is in charge of her career. Earlier this year in March, Britney's lawyer requested the resignation of Jamie as her permanent conservator and asked that Jody Montgomery, Britney's professional care manager, replace her dad as the sole conservator. And that brings us to today, Britney being granted permission to address the court directly. A source tells ET that Britney has been, quote, looking forward to this day for a long time and that she felt 100% ready to address the court.
Now, what's also weird about this whole thing, and this is stuff that I never would have picked up on, but if you're new to the whole Britney saga, Comrade Britney, as it were, she apparently has been leading and giving breadcrumbs and hints to how terrible her life has been in these weird cryptic Instagram posts. It's the only thing that she's had complete control of for years. For years is her Instagram account. And having gone through her Instagram account after following that, or after learning about the story, it all makes sense now. But if you just saw them on their own, they all seem very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. They're all unusual, and she's talking about things that just kind of seem out of place, and you're just confused. And then all of a sudden, it all makes sense. You know, this has been someone screaming for help for a really long time. And I know a lot of people on the left get pissed off when I cover the story because they're like, this is a fucking rich ass celebrity. Why do we care? Like, you know, fucking guillotine, all of them, every one. This is someone who made a fuck ton of money, yes, making a whole bunch of music, yes, in a highly satirized pop world that does over-sexualize little girls, yes to all of that. That doesn't change the fact that this is incredibly fucked up. Incredibly fucked up. This is the story of a father who thought his daughter was mentally unfit enough to justify controlling every aspect of her life. Everything. Including her ability to procreate. That was limited as well. This is a story of abuse, first and foremost.
Ahead of Britney's statement, ET spoke to legal expert Rachel Stockman, who said she doesn't think Britney's speaking out will affect the outcome of the hearing negatively.
And yes, thank you. Yeah, being rich doesn't mean capitalist. Absolutely it doesn't. If you're a capitalist, it's because you're an owner a job or an industry, capital as it were, and you're hiring workers and you're exploiting their work, that's a capitalist. You can avoid doing all that. You can form a worker cooperative with your employees, and so they become your fellow owners, and then everyone owns the means of production. That doesn't abolish markets. Don't come at me. All right, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, Lance, not really showing his theory here." I understand that it doesn't. I'm just saying there's phases. This would be a good first phase. You know, we're getting really off track. I don't know why we're doing this right now.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a big deal in your average conservatorship hearing if the conservatee decides to speak out.
Wavell,
However,
thank you.
This is not your average case. This is involving a huge celebrity. So I think it's a very big deal that she's speaking out, and she has told the court she wants her voice heard.
And also, I agree with Jacobin's post. Britney's a worker. Yeah, that's who the left should be fighting for.
I certainly think the tension with her father and all that's happened over the last few years and these various incidences that have occurred has really fed into why she feels like she needs to speak out now. I think it wouldn't be surprising if her father is removed if we slowly start to see her taking the stage again and going into the public eye.
Meanwhile, Britney's boyfriend of nearly 5 years, Sam, posted a photo of himself wearing a Free Britney t-shirt with a lion, representing his nickname for Brit, Lioness. This just hours before her hearing. Our source adds she is doing this with complete support from Sam and that he has stood by her throughout. Britney and Sam, of course, met on the set of her 2016 music video for Slumber Party, and he has been vocal about wanting change for Britney. In February, Sam took to Instagram to call out Britney's dad, Jamie, writing, "Now it's important for people to understand that I have zero respect for someone trying to control our relationship and constantly throwing obstacles our way."
I'm guessing the public backlash aristocracy did definitely help. I mean, this is now at the forefront of the conversation. That documentary went a very long way. It's like, it's impossible to watch that documentary and not get enraged. Like, absolutely enraged. Where you're just like, what the fuck? How did this come to pass? Like, I'm just utterly baffled by it.
In a report published Tuesday by the New York Times, the outlet claimed that Britney has been trying to end the conservatorship since as early as 2014, but records of her requests were sealed and unavailable to the public. However, in those documents, as reported by the Times, Britney called the legal guardianship an oppressive and controlling tool against her and claimed that it controlled everything from who she dated to the color of her kitchen cabinets. After calling for a recess, Jamie Spears' legal team returned to the hearing and told the court that he is sorry to hear his daughter in so much pain. Mr. Spears loves and misses his daughter very much. Britney's representation then told the judge that the superstar is fine with all future hearings being sealed moving forward, meaning we're unlikely to hear from Britney in court again when it comes to her conservatorship. Her lawyer also says he will meet with Britney to discuss her options when it comes to ending the conservatorship. ET's Lauren Zima is at the courthouse, and she got a chance to...
Like, if that's the case, why not just release her from it? You could do that legally. You could do that at any time if you truly feel sorry. But I'm guessing there's something else at play here, you know?
Speak to the director of the New York Times doc Framing Britney Spears, which of course sparked renewed interest in Britney's case. Here's what she told us about why the influence of the lawyers is likely the reason it's been so long for action to be taken.
As someone who's been working on this so closely, you know all the players in this game. What does that say to you about the lawyers here, Britney's lawyer especially?
I mean, I think we really have to look really hard at this conservatorship system and the conflict of interest in a person not being able to choose their own lawyer, being represented by someone, chosen by the court who is making money as long as she's in the conservatorship.
It's good to see you again because I interviewed you on Zoom when the documentary first came out, I would call it, to say the least, game-changing documentary for this case at this point. You've got your whole crew here today. What brought the crew here for this hearing?
Britney Spears is supposed to speak at this hearing. A lot of people have been saying it's the first time she'll be speaking, but we actually know from an investigation we published yesterday that it's not. We know that Britney has been expressing her discontent, extreme discontent with the conservatorship for many years. These sealed court documents really showed us that. She's been asking to end it. She's been asking for her dad to be removed for years. And so it's all been behind closed doors. So possibly we'll see if she actually is, if the public is able to hear what she says, but we might be able to hear her say that,
because that had been kind of this laurel that some of the narrative had been resting on, right? Well, Britney could ask any time to get out of this, but she hasn't. So what was your reaction when you first saw those documents?
It was pure evidence. I was really shocked that the narrative would be put out there so much. Her father's lawyer, Vivian Thoreen, has been saying Britney has never petitioned to end it. And I think she's using lawyerly semantics because we know Britney's court-appointed attorney, who she didn't choose, would file the petition at her request. But we have seen in these documents very explicitly that she has asked him to communicate to that to the court as early as 2014. We didn't see any documents before 2014, but now it's 7 years later. He hasn't done that, and you know what? He also has not even filed a petition for her father to be removed, even though the judge gave him that.
Her look is on point. Well, the only problem is that she's got blue hair, which means she's an SJW. That's the telltale sign, or so I'm told. The internet has taught me as such.
Had opportunity in November, and now it's June.
What does that say to you as someone who's been working on this so closely? You know all the players in this game. What does that say to you about the lawyers here, Britney's lawyer especially?
I think we really have to look really hard at this conservatorship system and the conflict of interest in a person not being able to choose their own lawyer, being represented by someone chosen by the court who is making money as long as she's in the conservatorship. That's a huge conflict of interest in the system that we're exposing because we think it's in the public interest.
So you get these documents. I have to ask, how did
we're
you
gonna
get
talk
these
about
documents?
that,
This came out a day before her hearing, and these were leaked court documents to you, essentially.
Yep, we're really good journalists. We're really good investigative reporters.
Your crew being here, what does that mean? Is there a follow-up documentary coming?
We wanted to capture it just in case. We're not totally sure yet, but we ended the documentary.
What's with the background music? Like, E.T., can you not produce content that isn't always like hyper entertainment, like hypertainment? Like, it's just got to constantly have something. You can't even have an interview with someone talking about a very serious topic without this like kind of completely inappropriate music in the background.
On a scene outside the courthouse like this where the judge declined to suspend her father, an immediate suspension, and that was kind of the note it ended on. So we thought we could, if we do another one, we could pick back up here on the time where she's supposed to speak and see if that's different.
And last question for you. I remember you told me that Felicia was someone you were still in contact with from Britney's team, I believe. Who do you think, like there was some criticism of her boyfriend in the press, and who do you think is on Britney's side here, knowing what you know? Who do you...
Holy shit, Donald Trump is going on the Rubin Report? Of course. Amazing. That's going to be a great interview. Now, as you know, on the marketplace of ideas, I ask very hard and pressing questions. So tell me, what was it like to win the election? How did that feel, Mr. President?
It's come to this because the court has not listened to Britney Spears and what she's shared with them. We heard today, in her own words, at her request, that this was made public, because actually at the beginning of today's hearing, there was a motion made to keep everything closed. But Britney herself...
Perez Hilton is just the worst kind of scavenger. Like, just apps, like through and through. Just hovering above carcasses, feasting upon them, waiting to see which entrails spill out first so he can have himself a little bite.
Said no, she wanted the public to hear what she had to say. In 2019, she went before this judge in a closed hearing and told this judge that she did not want to be in the conservatorship anymore.
Yeah,
she had to endure another 2 years of this. She's called this traumatic. She says that she cries every day and that has been forced to do things against her will, like performing while sick, not being granted a break, being forced to go from one Vegas residency to another, and just sounding.
He's basically like a larger scale Keemstar in that like he will directly contribute to people's mental health diminishment, and then when they go to the breaking point, he will then monetize the idea that he's somehow defending them. You know, it's just like 100% the Keemstar playbook.
Just completely like a broken woman, but defiant at the same time.
You've not always been complimentary about her, have you, Perez? I mean, we have to put that out there. Looking back, how do you feel about some of the things you said about her and whether or not it contributed potentially to her mental health challenges?
Yeah, you know, I take full accountability for how I behaved in the past. I can't say, oh, I was just young and dumb. I think we know a lot more. And initially, many folks, myself included, were shocked and alarmed and especially concerned for her young children. And I know that I did not express myself as well as I could have. I didn't lead with empathy and compassion, which thankfully
it's the fucking worst non-apology ever. Holy fuck. I didn't act as I should have, but I was really concerned about the kids. The kids. Won't someone think of the children?
It seems like most people now are understanding the severity of Britney's situation, but I absolutely
had nothing to do with all the fucking bank you were making, constantly pushing all these stories. Oh, look at her, she's had a meltdown. Oh, look at her, she's shaving her head. Oh, look at her, she's fucking exposing her crotch. What a whore. Print, publish, ad revenue.
Apologize and carry just deep shame and regret.
How do you feel towards her father?
In 2008, I, along many others, thought that Jamie Spears saved his daughter. I was really worried that had this conservatorship not been put in place...
You didn't just think that. You fucking published stories about it.
That Britney could have ended up dead. We forget, but she was really putting herself in dangerous situations almost every single day, going out in the city by herself.
We forget. And now you're doing apologia. Right after everything else.
Without a security team, ending up in a hotel, talking to strangers. It was a very scary time. So I think, you know, we often hear, where's the family? Why isn't anybody stepping up and helping out? Well, her dad did. And as Britney herself said in court on Wednesday, that old expression, money is the root of all evil. For 13 years now, she says her entire family...
The fucking self-awareness. Like, turned down to zero.
Family has been living off of her in this conservatorship, and what may have started off with good intentions has become corrupt over the years.
So do you think that it was the right thing to do back in 2008, but it's just gone on for too long? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I used to think it was the right thing to do because that's what we were told. We were told that Britney was in such poor shape. But recently, the New York Times, the paper of record, shared with the world that when Britney's father filed the paper...
During Britney's highly publicized mental health problems in 2007 and some in 2008, Perez Hilton constantly bashed Britney with rude, sometimes misogynistic comments and even blatant lies. These are saved images he has personally edited, which are still available on the website.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Work to put her under a conservatorship that he checked off dementia. After hearing her...
Oh, sorry, there's more.
Oh, won't somebody...
Silly girl, you need to remember, don't get too drunk to fuck. Is there a sex tape? We're inclined to believe there is. An amateur filmmaker is telling his story so that he could jack up the asking price. We hope he has a good lawyer, though. Britney will probably be suing his ass real soon. Boycott Britney. She must be stopped. Hand sanitizer. All still up, eh? The bashing is far from over. On the set of this music video, Perez literally showed up to bash Britney and brought insulting gifts to humiliate her in front of the paparazzi.
And, you know, I also brought her some new panties because I think Britney should stay covered. We've already seen her vagina. 3 times, actually.
Fucking hilarious. bro. When Britney bounced back in 2008 with her single Womanizer and the album Circus, the tables turned when she actually hired Perez to play the evil queen in the intro of the best-selling 2009 Circus tour. Wow. In 2014, Perez bought a ticket and a meet and greet to Britney's Las Vegas Piece of Me show. Forgivingly, Britney even brought him on stage during one of the numbers. Wow. Years later, we see that Perez is wearing Britney Spears' unofficial merch and even has a painting of her in his bathroom. Throughout the years, Britney Spears always does her best to stay out of drama and use her platform positively. Britney has never spoke on Perez Hilton. Oh, but he's monetizing speaking about her, that's for sure.
Speak today. Clearly, I'm not a doctor or a medical expert. It's dubious that she has dementia. So I have to now question everything over the last 13 years. Britney also said that, she didn't know that she could end the conservatorship by just putting in a request.
Perez even capitalized after the shirts that he sold to the Australian actor Heath Ledger passed away in 2008 that read, "Why couldn't it be Britney? Are you fucking kidding me?" What an absolute garbage human being. Holy shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. And now he's got the audacity to come on the Sky News and pretend like he's an expert on this, being like, "Oh, leave Britney alone. Leave her alone. How could you do this? How could anyone have done this?" He hasn't taken down any of his shit, by the way. A lot of those like shitty memes and shitty shit, just goddamn fecal matter. It's still all up on his website.
What's up? I'm here with Perez Hilton, who's a fucking piece of shit asshole. Fuck you.
Based. Unbelievably based. One more time for the people in the back.
What's up? I'm here with Perez Hilton, who's a fucking piece of shit asshole. Fuck you.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Hopefully, there's another hearing scheduled for next month. Hopefully it's a positive hearing with a positive update that, Britney can finally be free like she wants.
And then what? And then what for her, do you think?
Well, Britney said that she wants to get married and wants to have another child, but she does not have say over her own body. The conservatorship doesn't just control her finances, it controls her medication and clearly forcing her to have contraception. Hopefully nothing bad happens after whenever.
I can't believe what a champ she was to Perez Hilton. Like even gave him a role in the actual tour itself. Well, he's just
Britney Spears' boyfriend Sam Asghari just showed Britney's support by wearing a Free Britney t-shirt ahead of her court appearance, where Britney is set to speak on her conservatorship for the first time publicly in 13 years. Let's get into it. As fans know, Britney Spears has been under a conservatorship since 2008.
Conservatorship.
And Greg, she has been addressing the court, so what has she said so far?
Well, she started by saying that she had a lot to say, and it's very clear in the last 20 minutes or so that she has expressed a lot of the anger and hurt that she feels about what's happened to her over the last few years. I've got to say her fans are listening in to a feed of the court, and you can hear their reaction every now and then to what she says. She says that other people have done a good job in exploiting her life, and that's why she wants to speak now. She doesn't think she's been heard in court.
Okay, I want to play this building collapse. This seems pretty wild. Let me just put a bow on this whole story and say this. Britney Spears is a worker, and she's been exploited, and she's also a victim of a very toxic... Oh, I was not trying to do a shitty pun there. That was... I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Anyways, a toxic atmosphere of paparazzi who basically were just vying, just taking gleeful pleasure in watching her unravel and also forcing her a little bit to push her over the edge. She had just gone through a whole bunch of shitty stuff in her life. She had gone through a divorce. She was losing custody of her children. All of this compounded. And then all of a sudden you've got thousands and thousands of cameras in your face. Just think of like 1,000 Andy No's following you at all times. Thousands of Andy No's everywhere, just screaming, frothing at the mouth to see you do something and pushing you over the edge at the same time, like Perez Hilton, and then profiting off it for fun and profit, leading to the ultimate conservatorship of her father, who then took complete control of her life and her womb. You weird, creepy ass motherfucker. What the fuck is wrong with you? So yes, absolutely, 100% free Britney. I really hope that she finally gets to leave the shackles of this and will be able to talk about it publicly, which I assume is the reason she hasn't been able to yet. I assume that's part of it. And that would be absolutely incredible if that could take place.
Hey, do you like movies? Do you like Serfs? Do you want movies and Serfs watching the movies? So then come over to the new channels. It's the Serfs cinema. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Can you do the thing, that thumbs up and comment and all those things that help us out in the algorithm that controls every aspect of our lives? Also, if you happen to have a Facebook account, can you delete it? Like just delete it. You should probably delete your Facebook account because it's not a great company. But hey, if you can't do that for whatever reason, I understand. And could you also go to facebook.com/thesurftimes then and give us a little like and a follow. We're just trying to push back against the fact that people like Ben Shapiro happen to dominate the platform entirely. And when everyone asks why do older generations believe the things they believe, one of the problems is the majority of them on social media use Facebook. So to counter that, we're just going to be on there too now. Also, if you happen to have a union or a worker co-op or even a leftist project, podcast, website, Zoom, MySpace, it doesn't matter. We will advertise it for free on this channel. All you got to do is go to weareserfs.com and use the forms that we got there, weareserfs.com. Thanks, everybody.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and VK Jehannam, we are prepared to commit human sacrifices for your eternal glory. To our monarchs, the Tim Caucus and Tom Spiker, we are humbled to be your oafish jesters, clowning around in your royal court. To our lords, Evan Nudie, Tofox, Ryan Lubin, Trevor R., Jeff Lamb, and Alexander Thaler, we shall proudly carry your standard onto the battlefield and die for your precious land. To our esteemed Knights of the Round Table, Dark Puppy, Jenna Towell, Anna Loves Riley, Quiet 185, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevor Janis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojak, Saren 42, Chronic to Hemphog, The Great Pudini, Bongini, Catherine, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, J. Fraser Cartwright, Jimmy Bignuts, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Yopi, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our glass, we raise our swords, and we salute you.